Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about swimming with the fishes to lower your blood sugar. Before we get started, we'll go over the disclaimer. This is not a medical channel. We're not discussing anything medical, and no medical advice is given on this channel. Although I do have a medical background, that's not the intent of this particular channel. I'm sharing my journey with you, my type 2 diabetes journey with you, and how I reversed my type 2 diabetes. And hopefully that will help you and others as well. Before we get started, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment on the videos, because I like to know what you guys think. Give me some feedback on the content I'm providing so I can make it better for you. And also share it with other like-minded diabetics that need help. Okay, let's get started. So, the excellent benefits of this item for type 2 diabetes. Derived from the fatty tissues of certain oily fish, this item contains the essential omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. I'll give it a try in terms of pronunciation. Eicosapentaenoic acid, which is the EPA, and docosahexaenoic acid, which is the DHA. So let's just call it DHA and EPA. These fatty acids are well known to be essential to human health, and they have some particularly great benefits for those with type 2 diabetes and those with prediabetes as well. So research surrounding this item is extremely promising, from protective effects against coronary heart disease, Alzheimer's, and cancer to aiding in diabetes management. Among the benefits of this item, the one that stands out the most is their ability to help fight inflammation in the body. Being that diabetes is partly an inflammatory condition, you will soon find out how it helps improve various outcomes. So have you guys guessed what I'm talking about, guys? The fishes was the title was a little hint. So we're talking about your omega-3s, but particularly in this particular video, we're talking about fish oil. So fish oil, got it? So how does fish oil work, guys? As already mentioned, fish oil provides a mighty dose of omega-3 fatty acids. And one of the main functions of omega-3 fatty acids is their ability to reduce inflammation. Inflammation is a complex process that occurs on a cellular level in your body. And as a result of different stimuli, inflammatory cells are triggered in a long series of chemical reactions. These reactions involve critical immune cells that either increase or decrease the inflammation that is occurring in our bodies. In fact, inflammation is controlled by our bodies through a balance of pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory molecules. And this is where omega-3 fish oil lends a helping hand. Omega-3 acids work by upregulating, which means increasing the expression of the anti-inflammatory molecules, so the release of the anti-inflammatory molecules. And as a result, this reduces inflammation in your body, which has a wide range of health benefits. So fish oil can also reduce the risks of cardiovascular disease, which is something that we talk about all the time on this channel. That's part of metabolic syndrome. So a lot of people with diabetes develop cardiovascular disease over a long period of time because you're dealing with diabetes, high blood sugar, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. So those three are the whammies that you have to worry about. So as a diabetic, you're at a higher risk of heart disease. And this is due to the important impact of high blood glucose on the arteries, the vessels, and the organs, which is why it's so important to maintain good control of your blood sugar. Thankfully, fish oil may provide a number of benefits for reducing our risks for heart disease. So in a placebo-controlled study, type 2 diabetic patients with elevated blood triglycerides were advised to consume fish oil supplements anywhere between 2 and 4 grams daily, or 2 grams twice a day. At the end of the study, the results showed a decrease in triglycerides by 20 to 30%. Well, that's huge, guys, right? Triglycerides, we know that's a problem with our lipids. In another blind study with type 2 diabetic patients, fish oil supplementation has been shown to improve the elasticity of artery walls. This improvement within the blood vessels was linked directly with improved blood pressure. So again, metabolic syndrome. And the good news here is healthier blood vessels prevent cholesterol, plaque buildup, and artery blockages, right? So on top of this, low blood pressure reduces damage to the vessels as well. At the same time, another randomized trial of 12,536 type 2 diabetics at high risk of cardiovascular disease showed no effect for risk reduction. So kind of, this is a similar thing that we're getting with everything that I'm talking about, right? You see a lot of good studies, and then you see studies that show no effect. So which do you believe, I guess, is the question, right? And yet other studies have shown a potential coronary artery disease risk reduction of 10% in patients at high risk. So one just said there showed no effect for risk reduction, and the other one shows that it's effective up to 10%. Though some of the results are mixed, overall they indicate that fish oil supplementation has no harm and could aid in reducing the risk of heart disease. So since we're talking about harm, like anything else, anything we talk about on this channel, any recommendations I make, or anything that I share with you about my lifestyle, I recommend that you talk to your healthcare provider to understand how it's going to work with you and your lifestyle and whatever medications you're taking in terms of the interactions. So those with renal problems, fish oil may help maintain renal function. And a lot of diabetics are dealing with renal problems, right? Urea and the nitrogen and things like that. So you're dumping urea, it's called, I guess. So over 40% of people with type 2 diabetes develop diabetic nephropathy, kidney disease, or damage, which is one of the leading causes of end-stage renal disease. We spoke about that in the previous video. In general, it's unfortunate to say that kidney dysfunction is a common health issue among type 2 diabetics, just like we just discussed, which requires constant monitoring. No doubt your doctor keeps a close eye on this, because my doctor does too. I mean, when they do your blood work and your analysis and stuff like that, they check all this stuff. So one study investigating the effects of omega-3 fatty acid supplementation, which is somewhere around 4 grams a day in this study, in 344 patients with diabetic nephropathy, showed a greater maintenance of renal function compared to those taking lower doses. So they're saying these patients, 344 patients, were taking 4 grams a day, and it worked in their favor. Fish oil may reduce insulin resistance. Where there's type 2 diabetes, there's always insulin resistance. The two go together hand in hand. The result is higher insulin levels because there's a metabolic defect in the way your body is utilizing the insulin. Insulin is likely a key that unlocks your cells. But with insulin resistance, insulin receptors on cells are less responsive to insulin, the key. So the key is the insulin, right? So the cells can't be unlocked, which means less glucose is absorbed from the bloodstream into cells, which is where it's meant to go. It's not supposed to be circulating in your bloodstream. It's supposed to be in the cells. And it seems like fish oil can help you in this area as well. So another randomized controlled study gave 44 type 2 diabetic patients 4 grams of fish oil a day, or omega-3 supplementation a day, over the course of 10 weeks. At the conclusion of the study, the researchers found that the supplementation group had significantly improved insulin sensitivity. And that's what we want, right? Another review of clinical trials also conducted that supplementation with omega-3s resulted in prevention and reversal of insulin resistance. That's really ultimately what we all want as type 2 diabetics, right? So some other research. In diabetic mice, omega-3 has been shown to reduce inflammation, improve neurological function by treating nerve lesion impairments, prevents fatty liver disease, and improves vascular function. So this is a study they did on mice. So whether or not that applies to humans, that's questionable usually, right? Other human studies have shown omega-3 supplementation helps with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, improves telomerase activity, aiding in the body to more readily sense the nutrients, and lowers risk of diabetic neuropathy and more. Omega-3s are also beneficial for arthritis, asthma, irritable bowel conditions, depression, Alzheimer's, and dementia. So fish oil benefits for type 2 diabetics. Overall, research shows the following benefits: improved blood lipid profile, so your cholesterol profile, lowers your risk of heart disease, it improves your kidney function, it reduces insulin resistance, it reduces inflammation, which is a huge one because that causes almost all disease known to man, and possibly more that they're not aware of at this point, which I'm sure over the years we'll get more information. So some of the side effects of fish oil, like anything that we're talking about here, always consult your medical provider to see if it's suitable for you to take, and if it is, how you should go about taking it, the dosage and frequency, etc. Although fish oil supplements improve cholesterol in majority of people, in some people it can actually raise your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, the bad stuff. Fish oil can also affect blood clotting, so people taking anticoagulants such as aspirin, Plavix, Fragmin, Percentine, Lovenox, heparin, warfarin, Coumadin, and those types of medications should consult with their doctors and be closely monitored as well if they're going to be looking into fish oil supplementation. So the dosages for fish oil are these. So according to the various studies, the recommended dosage ranges from 2 to 4 grams of EPA and DHA daily. I take about 2 grams because I take 1,000 in the morning when I wake up, and I take 1,000 at night before I go to bed. And I did show you guys some of that when I was making my drink in that video there, my blood sugar lowering drink and my diabetes reversal drink, that I had fish oil as well. I just didn't discuss it because that's a whole topic that we're making a video on right now. So always consult your doctor before starting any supplementation, as dosage often differs from person to person, just like anything else, guys. So the omega-3 food sources that you can take this supplementation, which is the capsules and things like that, but aside from taking fish oil supplements, you can also increase your intake of omega-3 rich foods. Fatty fish are your best options to directly consume EPA and DHA. And some of the examples would be herring, salmon, oysters, sardines, trout, tuna, and crab. Now, a little caveat with this: some of these fish, depending on who they are, like tuna, you're going to have to be careful because some fish are high in mercury, so be aware of that as well. Be cognizant of that fact. So if you're going to be taking a lot of fish oil in the natural way through fish, instead of supplementation, just know about mercury and the levels of mercury in some of these fish out there. One thing is for sure, most people do need to increase their intake of omega-3 fatty acids simply because they just aren't getting enough. If you struggle to do so through foods, then supplementation may be a good option for you as well. So let's talk about how I take fish oil. So I mentioned earlier, I take it in the mornings when I wake up, and I take it before I go to bed at night. It's on an empty stomach. I take it with that drink that I made in the previous video, my diabetes lowering drink. I take that with the garlic. I take fish oil, garlic, and there's a few other things too that I take. There's the vitamin C part of it and the vitamin D part of it as well, but those are separate videos I'll talk about. There's just too much to talk about in this video, but that's how I take it. And I take it in capsule form. I mean, here it is, capsule form, so you guys can see it. And these are 2,000 milligram per serving capsules. And really the serving on this is 2 soft gels. That's your 2,000 milligrams. I just take 1 in the morning before on an empty stomach with the other stuff that I take, and before I go to bed at night, and that's also on an empty stomach. So I've read that these are the best times to take it, and I've been doing that for, I don't know, 10 or more years or so. So that seems to work for me. So before you guys go, like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I hope you guys are getting some value out of these videos I'm providing, because I'm looking for nothing other than to help you. No strings attached, free information. Information is power. So you guys have a great day. Just wanted to share this with you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video.